Hi all, it's Karen and
Pluto.
here for Karen and Bluto's on another review channel with another movie review. This was another request. I know we have a few other ones to still get to, and I apologize, we are getting to them.
We'll get there.
But this was one we had a couple people request, so we wanted to get it watched. Well, you had seen it, I had never seen it. So let's fire away.
Okay.
This is an American Werewolf in London. Rated R, definitely earned the R rating. Hour and 37 minutes, and it was done in 1981, which you could tell.
Yeah, because it looked a lot better than it does now.
So we kind of start at the beginning. There's like a countryside with these two people in a truck hitchhiking, I guess, basically. And the song Blue Moon is playing, which I kind of laughed how they incorporated that and Bad Moon Rising through in different parts of it. That kind of gave me a good chuckle. So basically, the truck pulls over, it's full of sheep, and then our two characters are there. David and Jack, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Right, you wrote it down.
Well, I was just making sure. Basically, the driver tells them to stick to the roads, like going a certain way.
Don't go in the moors.
Yeah, and then
what is a moor?
I don't know. I've heard the term, but I'm not 100% sure what it is.
Okay.
But they're kind of talking about how they're doing 3 months of hiking between England and to Italy.
That'd be fun.
And like talking about like this girl that I think Jack has a crush on or something that he wants to get with or whatever. So as they're walking, they eventually enter this small town area, and there's this, I put pub/bar called the Slaughtered Lamb, which I'm like, okay, that's a great name.
Sounds like a band name.
Yeah. So they go inside, and everyone kind of stops talking when they enter, and they're kind of looking at them. And basically they're asking like what can they get and everything, and they're like the only thing hot they had is tea, and they're kind of, you know, making fun of them being from America.
Would you
basically
like some tea?
Yeah,
you crazy American.
So they Jack starts to question about some of the things in the pub, and everyone's kind of like doesn't want to talk about it or do anything. So they were saying something about like the burning is on the one point is the ward off the wolf's man or something. I don't know.
What are you talking about?
Oh, maybe I wrote something, burning of the to warn off wolf's man.
There's the candles with the pentagram.
5-pointed star and candles. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just said that weird.
Yeah. No, I was looking at my notes. Weird. So they ask about the star. The one person in the middle of all this is playing darts, gets upset because they made a miss, and they're like, "Okay, we're just going to leave then." Right. So the barmaid kind of keeps saying, "Well, we shouldn't let them go. We shouldn't let them go."
No problem there.
And they're basically everyone's like, "Screw them. We don't care." And she keeps going on about it.
We don't bloody care about you.
So they decide to go, but they're trying to stay on the road. And somebody says, "Beware of the moon." So I have the pub discussing it's murder to let them go. I don't know. And not letting them know their business or anything.
Why don't we just get to the good part? They get off the path. Then
Chill
what happens? Well, you're confusing me.
So it starts raining, and I put, of course. They're still at the pub discussing things. They keep cutting back and forth. The guys discuss about the noise. They're hearing all these noises. And
they hear a wolf howl.
Yeah. And they basically don't heed the warning, and they end up going off the path.
Yep.
So they eventually are like, maybe we should go and return to the pub. Well, they're totally lost at this point. So they're trying to walk, and eventually they hear the wolf noises still and kind of realize they're being circled. So they still try to continue walking. David ends up falling, and Jack keeps going, and he stops to go back and help David. Well, he ends up getting attacked by a wolf.
Very good.
David starts to run, but then he returns to try to help Jack. He ends up getting attacked. Yep. And the various people show up with guns. They shoot the wolf, and the wolf returns to human form at this point, and David's kind of looking. He's very confused. Well, then he eventually wakes up in a hospital where he's being cared for But he's dreaming about running. Basically, in the middle of all this, too, I don't remember how long he would have been there before he woke
I thought
up.
he said 3 weeks.
Something like that. And so he does find out that Jack is dead.
Yep. Poor Jack.
A member of the American embassy states that the families are aware about what happened, that the police are investigating. The police would like to interview him. Oh, 3 weeks unconscious. I did have that written down.
See?
And basically, the police are saying that they were attacked by a lunatic. And David's like,
kinda.
No, we were attacked by a wolf that once it was shot, it turned back into a... And the police are like, basically like, no, it's over and done with. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
David, like I said, I have Scotland Yard arrives, and I kind of got ahead of myself. So
you're funny.
So basically, the long and short of it, Scotland Yard basically says to him, "You're in shock. The matter's closed. This is what happened. That's it."
Yeah, get on with it.
So David kind of worries about his sanity at this point. Then, he's like, "I know we were attacked by a wolf," and he keeps questioning it. Well, then he also continues to have images of running through the woods and attacking a deer. And then I said something about his pasty white ass. I think he stood up or something, and his ass was... I thought I was pale, but...
you like that.
Basically, they're trying to get David to eat, to get healthy. He doesn't want to, so Nurse Alex basically forces him to eat, and they're kind of getting flirty at this point. He continues to have these images running through his mind, of running in the woods, and he sees himself in the bed, then he sees the nurse, and then his face turns into a monster. So this kind of goes on going throughout.
Yep.
He kind of talks to the doctor about what's going on. They're like, "Oh, you're just having nightmares, don't worry about it." So eventually Jack's trying to get back to normal. Not Jack. David's trying to get back to normal. And all of a sudden, Jack starts appearing. But he's, decomposing.
Yep.
So...
because his soul cannot rest.
Yeah, so Jack's kind of going on, basically encouraging David to commit suicide. He goes, because you survived, you're going to turn into this, and because you took on the curse, I can't rest. And David basically thinks he's losing it at this point.
No.
Because Jack keeps saying he's cursed. He's cursed to walk the earth till the last wolf is killed. Of course, David doesn't believe him. He's just like, no, I'm seeing things. This is part of what's going on.
At least he has a sparkle.
Yeah. Sparkle, sparkle. No, he wouldn't sparkle.
He's not a vampire. You know that stupid movie.
No, he needs to strip his shirt off and be all buffed.
Well, they show him buff later when he's running around.
Yeah.
You like that part.
They show him in the buff. Anywho, pasty white ass. In the middle of all this, David calls for the nurse. She comes in. He ends up kissing her, and she's kissing him back, and he says he's a werewolf. Says about Jack being there regarding him changing. He's being discharged from the hospital, so Nurse Alex is like, "Oh, you can come stay with me."
Why does that happen to me?
So they basically go back to her place, have sex, everything else.
She has cute little boobies.
Make out in the shower, in the bedroom. Yeah, somebody said we should have added that to our sex scene thing, which we haven't which should be posted by the time this is up. So we might have to do a part 2.
Well, she got cute little boobies, right?
I guess I don't really remember. I remember pasty white ass.
I remember her cute little boobies.
So eventually David's there. He can't sleep. He goes out. Jack shows up again. He's becoming more decayed than before. He keeps telling him the next full moon, you're going to turn into a werewolf. You need to kill yourself before it's too late. And he's like, please believe me. And then
he should have.
And David's like, no, no, no. And Jack goes, you're going to make others like me, meaning Jack. So, eventually, the doctor, after listening to everything in the hospital, tries retracing David's tracks from the trip from where David and Jack started to where they were attacked. And he eventually goes to the pub, says about the 2 Americans, and everyone's kind of dodging his questions. And he's trying to get more info, and they're basically like, we don't know what you're talking about, so on. Well, one of the patrons leaves the pub, saying he has to go back to work. So when the doctor's leaving, he sees this person outside in the rain, and the doctor goes over and talks to him. And this patron basically says everyone's in danger, and he will change. You know, he doesn't flat out really say he's going to become a werewolf, if I remember correctly, but he's just saying, like, you know, he was basically along the lines that something bad's going to happen. And then the one other patron comes out and basically interrupts and says, you know what, you need to get out of here. So, yeah, Alex is getting ready to go back to work, and animals start reacting weird to David, like dogs are barking at him real weird. Yeah, after she leaves and he locks himself out, these two little girls come walking this little dog, and the dog's like barking and growling at him, and he's like,
he should have kicked those girls.
Yeah.
They were annoying.
So, while he's alone at Alex's, I said about the bad moon rising.
This is where he transforms, right?
Yeah. So there's the full moon. David, he starts the transformation, which for that time, like what they did with it, it was amazing. Like,
better than anything now.
Yeah, I can't even describe it, how amazing it was for the time. Like what they did with that transformation scene with him.
Progress is pretty terrible.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like CGI couldn't compare to that right now with that. So I mean, that was absolutely amazing, and I was like mesmerized watching it. But basically, wow. Yeah, because I was just like, how are they doing this without like the technology? You know, what technology was available at that point? That's what I think made me enjoy it more, because it was like it looked so real.
I guess they use those prosthetics and stuff like that.
Yeah. So basically, it's very painful for him changing. He says about burning up. He's tearing off clothes. Yeah, it looked very, very uncomfortable. So eventually he gets out of the apartment. So he ends up killing a few people.
He goes on a rampage.
Yeah, he ends up, there's a couple that are going off a back way into an apartment building. He attacks them. This random lady sees something going on, sends her husband out, and he kind of finds an arm laying there or something. And then we cut back to the doctor talking to Nurse Alex about David. They're trying to call the apartment. There's no answer. Doctor's kind of discussing her what happened and what the truth being hidden. They call the police. Then in the middle of all this, David finds these 3 homeless people. The dog is sensing them being there, and the one guy's like, get out of here. Well, then he ends up
smart dog
killing 3 guys, and the dog got away.
That's good.
And then eventually he goes into a subway, and there's this guy alone. He kills that guy.
That part's pretty cool.
Then we go to the next day. David wakes up in human form at the zoo with the wolves.
Yep.
This white ass.
You like the other ending show? Sort of.
Not too much.
You were focused on that. I had my eyes closed.
They were kind of positioning the camera, trying not to give a full frontal, but you could see some hair. What?
You would notice that.
Well, I'm sorry, when the camera's like kind of focused, and it's like, yeah, you're just not dropping low enough. What?
That was just funny how you did that.
So, anyways, he's trying to figure out how to get out of the zoo when he's not dressed, and he ends up calling this kid over and taking the balloons and other items to escape. And the kid he took the balloons from goes over to his mom and is like, a naked American just stole my balloons. Like, he's just very matter of fact about it. So,
have you seen that kind of thing before?
Who knows? Because he was just like, whatever. And then he's at the bus stop wearing this woman's coat, trying to get back to Alex's. And
looks like a flasher.
Yeah, I mean, because everyone's kind of looking at him. I don't even know how he got on the bus, because I don't think he had any money or anything like that. So he eventually gets back to Alex's place, and it's like, I don't remember anything that happened. I can't remember if the doctor called at this point or Alex called the doctor, said about him being there, and he goes, get him to the hospital immediately. I want him under my care. But David's going, oh, I feel great. I don't need to go back or anything. So, as they're going, and they're in a cab, and the driver's talking about, oh, did you hear about those 6 murders last night? And David's like, oh my God. Somehow he pieces it that somehow he did it, which we know he did. So he eventually leaves the cab. Alex goes chasing after him. David finds a police officer who basically does everything he can to get arrested. And the officer is like, you're being an ass. Get out of here. You know, he won't arrest him. So basically, so police officer eventually goes away and everything, and David basically says to Alex that he loves her, but he wants to keep her safe and tells her to stay away. So the police are looking for David just to prove that he's not responsible. David actually phones home at this point as well. Yeah. And he's talking to his sister Rachel, who's home alone. He leaves a message saying, tell everybody I love him, because at this point he is going to try to commit suicide, but he doesn't. So once he leaves the phone booth, he sees Corpse Jack, who is deteriorating even more, go into an adult theater. I put porno theater. Same difference. Same difference.
Okay.
And so basically he pays, goes in, him and Jack are sitting in the back, and there's a couple other guys, and they're playing some sort of pornographic movie on the screen. That you're
you like that part.
Yeah, it was like British, whatever, and it was just kind of like made no sense. But anyways, Jack basically is like, I told you so, and he kind of says, do you want to meet the people you killed last night? So all the people that he killed are doomed to walk the earth as well.
Yep.
And basically they all start encouraging him to commit suicide so they can be released. And the one chick from the couple is like, oh, well, that's a good idea. Like, she's just too damn perky. Because they're discussing different ways for him to kill himself.
Well, hey, they're trying to help him.
Yeah, so they're still sitting in the theater. Basically, he starts to change again.
Yep.
And he basically kills everybody in the theater. So basically, there was this woman that was up in, like, the booth selling tickets, and she, like, goes in, like, heard the noise, and is, like, breaking down, like, oh, my God, they're all dead. And then I think a couple of police officers go in. They end up getting killed. So then somebody comes running out and pulls the gate down. They're trying to hold them in there.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's like people are gathering, and the police are like, get away, and people are pushing in like, no, we want to see what's going on. And then the two Scotland Yard people that are looking for David, that were investigating earlier, get there, and David eventually breaks free and rips the one guy's head off in the process. And I was like, well, karma's a bitch, you didn't listen. So it ends up being there's a major crash with everything going on, with David escaping. There's all these injuries. He's running around all over the place. Doctor and Alex start heading to the area where everything's going on. Eventually, David runs into this dead-end alley. There's people still gathering like dumbasses. And the police are trying to get him to back off. Well, Alex eventually sees where David went and breaks through the police line to get to him. And she's trying to talk to him. She's like, I love you. We can work this out. We can do something. And then it would look like David's getting ready to attack her. And all of a sudden the police show up, fire, and kills David. Yeah. And
that's it.
Basically, that's it. I mean, Alex kind of breaks down. David's back in human form, and I guess everybody is free because he didn't turn anybody else into a werewolf. So, like I said, I love this movie. I mean, it was really enjoyable. I know a couple people talked about American Werewolf in Paris and about how bad it sucked. I think I might have seen that one, but I don't really. The only thing I remember is two people jumping off the Eiffel Tower at the end after they got married or something. So, I mean, I don't even know if that was in there, or I just imagined that. So,
I don't remember.
I don't think we're going to do that one unless we get a request for it.
I don't have it. Do you have it?
No, we can find it. I know the people that requested this that don't watch it, it's a waste of time. But like I said, I think I might have seen it years ago, but I don't remember it.
Just stick to this.
But like I said, great movie. If you have not seen it, you do need to see it. I don't think it's really all that scary.
It's a comical thing.
Yeah, I mean, some of it
directed it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like. I mean, there is blood and everything in it, and like I think the corpse thing is funny, especially because the more you see Jack, the more decay he's getting, and it's just the fact they're like, you need to kill yourself in order to save us. It's like, yeah, nothing like, hey, you got to commit suicide. So, but like I said, great movie overall. I would definitely watch it again.
Movies.
You have to watch Twilight. I'm just kidding.
That's vampires.
And werewolves.
Oh.
Bluto won't watch that. I've seen them all enough. So,
yep.
That is it for this review. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you know when we post new content. Help share the page. We would greatly appreciate it. I still haven't found a bell to put in. Amazon wishlist is posted, so if you want to help us out with something, that would be great. If there's something you want us to review, we'll see if we have it. If not, if I add it to the list and you're willing to send it, that would be great. Other channel, K-Dog Games, Toys, and More, game and toy reviews. This guy pops up over there every so often as well. I think that's it. And I got the hiccups. So we'll see you in the next one. Bye.